Hi, I'm Jonathan Kebell, a Senior Associate Property Manager located in Workman's Newcastle office. I'm joined here today by Ed Moore, partner in our Building Consultancy department, along with James Hallworth, also a partner and Head of Building Technology. In this episode, we're going to be asking Ed and James some questions about Workman's digital transformation and what that looks like in practice. So this one is for you both. Why is the digital transformation a priority now?
I think really with the company being sort of 42 years old, so I think the time is probably overdue that we need to really look at our IT systems, architecture and infrastructure, as well as the business processes and how we're doing it. So really it's a perfect time really to kind of move away from what we've had before and try and evolve into the new modern age really.
And I think also it's really important that it's not just the technology, it's the processes around it as well. So making sure the processes are streamlined to go alongside the new technology which we'll be bringing in.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the culture and values project that we're doing, that we're trying to make the business a better place and an easier place moving forward to work in.
So with that and the culture and values, how the staff surveys fed into this initiative?
To be honest, the two surveys that were done were really good because we got some really good, great, honest feedback and really got to grips with people's pet hates. It really gave us a basis of where we need to start from and what we can build on going forward, really. I think that was real good, important, honest feedback from the staff, which obviously we thank them for.
And it's people doing the doing, isn't it, as well? So it's people who are actually doing the work and on a day-to-day basis, which allows them to feed back exactly the frustrations or some ideas as well. It's not just about moaning, it's also about the positive stuff which they can do, or they can see how things can develop and putting that forward and having a voice for that as well.
Yeah.
So what are going to be the challenges in Workman's technology investment?
There will be challenges, obviously, but managing people's expectations of what success looks like. You know, it's not something that we're going to be clicking our fingers and great, everybody's going to be able to use new systems. There's going to have to be some training rolled out. Business processes will have to change as well as the systems. I think also getting people's buy-in that this is going to help them is important. When you are making changes, you get change fatigue. People can get bored with too much change. So it really is going to be a bit of a team effort here where we've got to message it and make sure that people can see the benefits. There's also an element where I think if you go too quickly, you might get it wrong and not do the due diligence. Mm-hmm. But if you go too slow, people are like, oh, crikey, we're still talking about the same thing.
Yeah. So what are the risks to Workman if we don't get this digital transformation right?
We're going to be left behind. That's the biggest risk.
Yeah.
And with that, we'd lose clients and we'd lose staff. So it's fundamental, isn't it?
Yeah, dead right. I think, you know, as I said, we've got to move with the times. IT is constantly changing. We've got to evolve with it, with the services we're providing for clients. We've also got to give our staff the tools to be able to provide those services. The risk is we can't keep up with our competitors. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we want this business to grow. A lot of us have been in the business for a long period of time. We're in this because we want to make a success of it. So I think investment in the IT systems and business processes is absolutely fundamental. Yeah. It's not even a can we afford to do it or not. We can't afford not to do it.
Yeah, thank you both. So moving on to what are the sort of current and future projects on the go? Like what have been some of the early wins?
Yeah, I think it's getting the foundations right. Once we've got the foundations right, then we can do the sexier, more exciting stuff, which everyone gets to really feel and see and tactically get hold of, basically. But there's been a big push and a hell of a lot of work which has been done by the team in order to start getting those foundations right so we can push on and do these more exciting projects.
Yeah. So what does the roadmap look like with the introduction of some of these initiatives? Like what can we expect to see coming in the near future?
Yeah, I think with getting those foundations in place, we're kind of starting to climb the hill a bit to where we want to get to. So with having the foundations in place, understanding our core systems now, we're looking at tendering, property management system and a finance system. That's due to happen. Once we've got that, we can start looking at other systems that we can integrate with, maybe a new CAFM system or other systems that we can link into the core system. What we do understand and have sort of developed is our key database is our PMS, our property management system. So projects that are ongoing that are integrating, relatively complex in that, but the idea is we need to get through that core PMS system first and the finance system, because they are our biggest.
And I think the data lake is a really important part of that, is creating a single source of truth, which we're looking to achieve, so that we can bring in data from our client managed systems, our own PMS, and then talking back out again. And that single source of truth for all our data is going to be key. What we're also doing is tactical automations. So we're currently working on a few tactical automations at the moment.
An IT system is only as good as the IT system. If you haven't got the business processes and the training to actually make sure that those systems work in the right way, it will fall down.
So what are some of the new ideas that our clients can expect to see with the implementation of this new technologies?
There are a few. I think what is key to understand is, obviously everybody will know in accounts and property management that we're heavily reliant on the client systems. 50% of our clients, we have to use their client systems. So with the data we've got, the analytics that hopefully we'll be able to provide on that will give them more ability to make decisions quicker.
More ability to make decisions quicker, us to be able to give them the information which they want a lot quicker as well, but then giving it to them in a format which we're really proud of. I think that's going to be one of the really big parts, is handing over reports, etc., which are modern, which are dynamic, which look like we want them to look, not just the old school Excel standard run-of-the-mill reports. We want to bring everything forward now.
Thank you both for that. So next, I'd like to talk about data and the strategy going forward. A term that's been thrown around is data is our currency, and leading on to that, what does that mean in practice?
I'll let you answer that. That sounds like a hard question.
For us, what our clients are wanting more and more, they want more and more data on their assets, on everything to do with their assets. So we're in this great position where we actually already collect a huge amount of data for them and for ourselves, and we're holding it and we're really not utilizing it to its full extent. So we've got all this data which we're banking and which we need to put into a way which we can actually hand it over and create value out of it. So we've got all this insight, all this information in this data, and we need to look at how we can then create value from that, giving it to our clients in a way which they can understand it, they can utilize it, we can add value to them basically.
And in the timely nature that they need it as well, and hopefully if it's so everybody can access that quickly, then it's a benefit to all staff, because then it works on efficiencies and they can get that quicker. Or there's somebody who can help them with that in order to manipulate that data how the client wants it.
So not just giving them what they asked for, it's us thinking wider and thinking, okay, what data would be useful for them? Okay, would it be getting footfall into shops on shopping centres, for example, rather than having to go and ask for that information out of the tenants? Why don't we capture that with AI and CCTV and actually then create a value proposition which we can give to clients, which actually gives them new additional information which they traditionally wouldn't have got, and actually adds them value as well. So it's also looking at kind of the wider things which we can do to give them more basically.
And you touched on obviously a hot topic within our colleagues, the data forms earlier. With the implementation of this technology, how do you see it impacting on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of what we're doing is everything we're doing, the focus is on a better situation for the staff in terms of performing their day-to-day job. So it should be made easier, also made slicker. but also give them some time back to concentrate on other areas of the jobs that they may enjoy a bit more. If we are reducing manual inputting of data and the searching of data, stuff like that, hopefully allows them to do their day job a bit easier on that basis. So it's really to kind of assist the performance and get people back to doing the stuff that they enjoy a bit more.
Yeah, it's breaking people away from sitting behind the screens looking at Excel all day long. Let's try and get them doing what they're going to really enjoy.
Yeah,
unless you really love Excel like me.
Yeah, but I think, especially if it's from a property management side, hopefully that will buy them a bit more time back in terms of meeting with clients, other staff, collaboration, and pushing other work streams forward. You should buy back that time. Everybody knows there's an element of administration that has to be done. But if we can kind of reduce that and improve that for everybody across the firm, that will hopefully have a positive impact. That was some of the key feedback we got in the staff surveys, that people were spending too much time on systems that were slow and not getting the output from them.
So what would be the training and support provided to our staff to facilitate that?
I think obviously we've brought Debbie Haler on board as Learning and Development Manager, and the idea now is when we go forward with any sort of a new IT initiative or a new system that will be onboarded, the idea is that once we have got that contract signed or we've agreed that subscription with that vendor, we would then engage Debbie and her team in terms of getting her involved to understand what training needs are required and how we best roll that out to the staff. So it goes very much now hand in hand that when we are onboarding new systems, we've got to understand from an operational point of view how that works with the staff. As I said before, IT is just a tool. So we need to make sure that the processes and the training is back to back with that. So part of Debbie's role will be understanding how we then get that knowledge into the staff, how quickly it needs to be done, which staff need to do it, and so on.
So just starting to wrap up what this Workman digital transformation looks like, where do you see us in 2 years' time?
Where I'd like to be is we'd be in a position where we've reviewed and tendered a new PMS, which will be our core data system. If we've gone with a new one, we've implemented it and hopefully onboarded all the staff that need to be on. At the same time, I'd like to think that we've got the finance system also implemented and running. With that, I would like to think that we have started, if not, to look at other systems that we would want to link to it. I know we've got things like Property Inspect that link to it, but there may be other things like a CAF FM system that may be onboarded or due to be onboarded, and we see how systems fit in together, and we've started to get the basis of an architecture that can take us forward for another 10 years to make sure that we're not constantly going through a change of system process.
How do you see the use of AI in daily operations in the future? How will that be implemented as a tool?
It will increase. I don't think AI is as far forward as the hype would like you to believe. I think there's still a lot of work to be done with the AI systems which are out there. That being said, we are looking at a number of different AI uses in the business, and we are implementing some at the moment. I think the big part for us is it's a co-pilot. It's something that sits alongside you, which helps you do your job. Isn't there to take over. It's there to assist and reduce the amount of admin, reduce how much time you actually have to spend at a computer, and allow you to do other things which are more enjoyable. So that's the main thing for us, is I think bringing in AI sensibly in the right way, in a managed way, with wider thought as to how that sits with all the different processes and systems which we have in the business as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. There will ultimately be some sort of automation or AI that will be involved. I think what we need to be a little bit careful, and it goes back to not going too quickly, because we need to understand that certain systems have got limitations, or programs have got limitations that are against our compliance. So every time we look at systems, we've got to make sure that they are ISO compliant or they comply with all our client contracts. So some people might be thinking, oh, crikey, why haven't we got that AI search engine? Or why can't we use that? It's not because we're trying to make people's lives harder. It's really because we know that in terms of our client contracts, there are limitations, and our ISO compliance limitations on what sort of systems we can use, and putting company information into the ether that can be seen by other people. So we've got a bit of a responsibility of safeguarding not just our information but clients' information as well. So there's an element there where, as James says, I think realistically we will be using it, but I don't think it's something that everything goes AI.
And it also goes back to this foundations piece which we're talking about. We're still working through the project of getting the data foundations in the business right, moving to cloud-based. Once we've done those projects as well, then we'll be in an even better, stronger position to be rolling out more AI type tools. And I think if you look at where the rest of the industry is as well, we're not behind on that. We're in a similar place to everyone else in the industry. Everyone's got to make sure that they've got their foundations right first.
So how will you measure how these tech changes have made a difference?
It's a good question. I think there's a number of ways of doing it. There's the people element, so we need to get some constant feedback from the staff to understand whether the changes we've made have positively impacted them. You know, whenever you make a change, there are going to be some people who might not like it. There might be more people who do like it. So we're going to have to understand that and make some decisions on that basis. I think looking at KPIs and efficiencies, if we are finding that people are in all walks of life and business and their jobs, they're going to have some sort of KPI, whether it's formal or informal. But if they are doing their job quicker and more accurate, there is something that can be measured on that basis. So I think hopefully as part of these systems that we bring in, we'll be able to get a clear idea on how long things were taking us before and how long they're taking us post-transformation. So there'll be an element of that. I think
staff surveys, I think that's something that's going to continue, and hopefully we'll see the positive effects of that. I think we're improving retention rates as well, and I think hopefully we'll continue to see a rise in retention of staff because people are happier at not having to deal with the systems which are frustrating them. I think there's huge reach in terms of what it's going to touch and how it's going to improve people's lives, and hopefully we can measure it in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
Ed, James, that's really positive stuff. So thank you for sharing that with us today. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode of the Workmanship podcast. Thank you.